So I saw episode 7 of season 5 of The Boys earlier this week, and the episode was definitely an overwhelmingly underwhelming dumpster fire of poor writing and missed opportunities. Like, this was the show's penultimate episode, and these writers thought it was a good idea to waste time on some kind of weird S-adjacent scene between dog and cat themed suits who sniff each other's butts and determine thereby what each had to eat a few hours prior, or to waste time on a nothing plot where Huey and Butcher get captured by a psychic who tells Huey Butcher's dirty secrets in an attempt to turn Huey on Butcher, like Huey is presented in this show will ever turn on Butcher at this stage of the game, or to waste time on giving Huey and Annie and Sage, of all people, Dark Night of the Soul drama and having them need to be reasoned back to themselves with tropey and predictable pep talks. But the one disappointment that stood out to me above all the others was the way that this show handled Homelander. Since before this season even premiered, the writers and showrunner have been hyping season 5 as this show's version of the apocalypse and saying that Homelander would be more deranged and unhinged and bloodthirsty than ever. The promotional content for this season even has his levitating above planet Earth as nuclear fire engulfs the planet, and he's done nothing like that for this entire season. And the showrunner and this season's shields kept implying that it was coming, that there needed to be a build-up so that it would feel earned when it happened. Never mind that seasons 1 through 4 should have been that build-up so that season 5 could hit the ground running. The showrunner actually implied that episodes 7 and 8 would be the time for that final brutal take on Homelander, and surely enough, it was what I expected after last episode 6's twist, wherein Homelander finally got Compound V1 and ostensibly became immortal and even more powerful than he already was. Then episode 7 came around and Homelander didn't do anything. And I already know what the shields are going to say here. Oh, you're not watching your screen? Did you forget about how he literally unalived the President of the United States? No, I didn't forget. Just like I did not forget that that scene does nothing to top some of the other stuff Homelander has done and said this season, or even in previous seasons. We didn't even see one wisp of the new and godlike power that he's supposed to have now in this episode. Instead, we got a scene where he fantasizes about coming out as God in a music video. A scene where he says that he wants nut milk banned across America. A scene where he fires the Deep and disbands the Seven boardroom style. A scene where he fantasizes about creating a theme park in his image. A scene where he cries about how Soulja Boy wants to leave him again and chokes Soulja Boy out to prevent it from happening. I don't think we even see him fly or use laser vision this episode. Like, for reference, we got scenes in season 1 where he took down entire airplanes and we felt the dread and gravity of those moments. We got a scene in season 2 where he fantasized about unaliving a crowd of hundreds of protesters for cursing at him and flipping him off. We got a scene in season 3 wherein he threatened that if Starlight ever tried exposing him, he would cripple America's communication and power systems, wipe New York off the map, and destroy, I believe, both Starlight's hometown and Queen Maeve's. That's the type of thing we should have been getting in this season. That's the type of thing we should have gotten in this episode, at least. Like, for instance, I think it would have helped reinforce the gravity and the scale of Homelander's evolved threat now that he has the V1 if he did slay an entire crowd of protesters like he fantasized about doing in season 2, paying off and bookending that moment from back then. Maybe if he wiped out every prisoner at every prison camp in America, or wiped out an entire city of maybe people whom he felt would not agree with his leadership of America. Like, I'll tell you one small change that could have been made to episode 7 that would have vastly improved it. That plot line where O-Father is putting together that focus group of anti-Starlighters and uses psychics planted among them to see who's willing to take Homelander as God, where Homelander later calls him and tells him to unalive the many people there who do not, and where O-Father then dispatches those D-listers Dognot and She-Line to do the dirty work of unaliving them one by one. That entire plot line was a disgusting disappointment, especially as an action scene in this show's penultimate episode. And imagine just how much better it would have been if, let's say, Homelander called O-Father to ask how many of the people were not willing to worship him as God. If O-Father made his report, and if Homelander just showed up right then and burst through the wall before standing next to O-Father, having flown from New York to Los Angeles that fast, demonstrating how vastly upgraded his flight power is after he's taken the V1. Then imagine if the quote-unquote non-believers in the crowd looked to Homelander, surprised to see him, and started cheering, and one person says something like, "Homelander, we love you," only for Homelander to smile and respond with something like, "Yeah, but not enough," before lasering them all into oblivion and bringing the whole building down around them. That's the type of spectacle that would have made the audience feel how much of an unhinged, unmitigated threat Homelander is now. That's the type of thing that we should have seen from him in this show's next to last ever episode. And that's only part, though a big part, of why, to me, this episode was such a lacking disappointment and really something of a stain on the legacy of this show. But at any rate, that's enough from me. I want to know what you think. Sound off in the comments below. Definitely share your own opinions on how you feel about Homelander's presentation in episode 7. I'm curious to know how other people think about his generally lackluster depiction, whether people actually like his portrayal in that last episode, etc. And when you're done, don't forget to like and follow for more.